Okay, now I have this dust cloud at his feet. I just need to erase away from it a little bit more. Watch my opacity. It's important that it doesn't look like a sheet of paper, you know, or tracing paper that's just laid over. It needs to be broken up in areas, just like any texture fill would. And then I might have to dodge and burn it or play with its levels because it's a little too bright. It's like that dust cloud has its own light source, so I need to take its levels down. Maybe limit its brightness a little. And these effects are very subtle, but they can really help with what we're trying to do. Okay, so I've got this character in here. Now this is a nice little game. How do I separate all these character attributes, like the shadows, from the landscape itself? Well, what I do is I use this little folder icon. So instead of creating a new layer, I create a new folder. And these are called groups. And I just call this character. And I'm going to say night. So I'm going to add my character next. And I take all those character layers. I can hold down Shift and get all of them. And move them into that one folder. And I might label the folder with a color. Let's make it yellow. And then with just one click, I can turn all of those character attributes off or on. Right? It's very handy. And so as I improve my landscape, dodging and burning this by bringing some rubble in. Once you are comfortable with compositing, don't give up on it. You can keep on finding more. There's an endless need for rubble in this class. Filler. Especially of large size. Right. So I can take this. Notice I don't even need to save it to the desktop with these new versions of Photoshop. I just click and drag and drop and it comes in as a smart layer. And I just need that rubble right there. I need to make sure it's rasterized. Thought it would come as a smart layer. It actually came in rasterized, which is kind of interesting, at full resolution. I need to cut it out. And I'm just using this to fill one little hole that I hadn't noticed in my original landscape. As you get more and more confident, you take bigger risks. You don't feel like you have to justify everything you try. You just get more experimental, and in general, your art becomes more your own. And all the same skills apply. Color balance. That does a lot to integrate it. Levels. Levels is what I like most for adjusting lights and darks, the shadows and the highlights. can deepen the midtones but brighten the highlights, deepen the shadows, can limit them. And then this new tool, saturation, just to kind of take some color out. And of course the standbys, just the erasers. Yeah, that works pretty well. Fix that bottom edge up a little. And even though I'm removing material, I'm still not using 100% opacity. I like a little bit of that to remain. Just helps blend the colors together. Then when I have to do these fine adjustments, I switch to a lower opacity and a softer edge. Okay. And then that looks kind of crummy when I look at it now. See if I can work with that. Finding out what layer it's on, and then making adjustments. So this is how, this is how we can fix our landscape. Now remember, now we can use the skills we've learned in the creature assignment to fix our landscape as well, such as building a clone stamp layer. Maybe run underneath my character folder. I'll create a clone stamp layer where I can fill in these gaps where I don't have overlap. I'll mark it as red. And I'll use clone stamp just like I did with my character to grab from all layers any kind of texture I think I might need and be able to kind of paint with it, to transition with it. As long as I move my target, it'll all work. Organic things are pretty easy to work with and transition, but the problem is whenever you have something that looks too regular, like a cut shadow like this, it draws attention away. It just doesn't look believable. So I definitely have to transition that using clone stamp. And I can work it both ways, bringing both textures together. And in other areas where the colors might seem a little weird, clone stamp can help transition these, make them more believable. Slightly softer edge. Making the art your own is all about making strong decisions, having a strong point of view. All right, that's looking more believable now. Put these things back in. Put the rubble back in. just finish integrating it. All right, now I'm saving this as assignment 3. I've already finished it with the knight. This would be the finished assignment. I would just submit it just like this. And then we're going to add a step this time around. I want you to take your overlay layer, turn it to normal, and take away all your character attributes. So mine would look just like this. There we go. And I would submit it like that. So this would be a JPEG, and then integrated into its landscape would be a JPEG. And I can help you do that. That's so you can see, I can see all the decisions you made. Even if they look kind of funky, because this is going up onto a rock and on the ground and all of that. I want you to see the power of this overlay. All right. So now I need to do it with my own character. So I'm going to turn off the knight, and I'm going to turn on my guy. And all the same steps apply. So it's not all that difficult. Make my guy green here so I can see him. All right. So first he's lit from this side. He has a shadow behind him. Feels like this rock should probably be a little bit darker. And if I want to brighten up its tip, I'll just use the dodge tool. Okay. And I'm going to take its saturation down a little bit too, to work with my character. And I have this big claw, so I'm going to move the rock down below my character. Actually scratch that. Whoops, let's go. I'm going to move my character up above that rock. All right, and you see as it went through the different texture layers and stuff, it became a little bit sharper. Okay, now I have him on top of the rock. I need a shadow underneath him. So what can I do? I'll duplicate him. Go to Image Adjustment, Levels. Push it all the way to the right on the top, all the way to the left on the bottom. Get a full silhouette. Use perspective. Just gently tug it in from the bottom. Then use Distort. Lay that shadow on the ground. The one I'm most concerned with is the claw. Now the claw isn't actually touching the ground, it's hovering over the rock. So I want to get kind of a shape of the claw that I think is believable on the rock. There I have it. And then I have the shadow coming from behind. I move the shadow behind my creature. I'm going to duplicate it to use it later. And then I can erase away pretty abruptly from this.